Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jesse, your DM.
Cody playing Lazarus.
Brennan playing Dis.
Mike playing Nim.
Britt playing Kenna.
And we are Double Doubles and Dragons. We're a group of goofy Canadians that have gotten together to play a little D&D. Sometimes we will say things that are inoffensive. We mean them as jokes, of course, and they're certainly funny to us, but some people may find this offensive. If you do, we apologize, but we don't want any hate mail about it. So just don't listen, okay? Let's jump right into the action. All right, welcome back, everybody. So, where we left our heroes is they've all squeezed themselves into a pantry to try to buy themselves a short rest while they decide what they need to do with Wallace. They've encountered a couple of strange things in his mansion ever since everybody started getting demon-fied, and they've been playing around with some of the powders that they have and some other things, and where we left them specifically was they were looking, they became suspicious of this pantry that they've been repeatedly told to steal from, but never seems to have anything all that good in it. So everybody was looking around for anything they could use. Ken has been blindly patting the wall. Dis is checking out the shelves for dust very directly. And Lazarus has been kind of like tiptoeing around the tiles of the floor, trying to figure out if his weight on any of them is of any significance. We rolled investigations. What did everybody get?
19.
15 for perception.
Okay. So, everybody begins working at their various things. And Kenna, you find a panel on the very back wall that as you push on it, it sinks in just a little. But nothing happens. At almost exactly the same moment, Lazarus, you find the very farthest back left corner tile on the floor sinks down ever so slightly when you put your weight on it. But again, nothing happens. And Dis, as you're checking around, you notice there is a fair amount of dust and flour and that kind of stuff in here. But you do notice that there's one bit of shelf right by the door that seems almost immaculately clean.
There's an odd tile over here.
There's a panel on the wall over here.
The spot is entirely too clean.
It's unnatural.
Dis, focus, please.
I think the entrance is here.
I just want to mess around with that spot. I'm going to touch.
What if we press the things at the same time?
We can try that.
Okay. So while the two of you press down your Dis, in his exact words, just sort of starts messing around with the shelf a little.
Like, push down, push up.
It does swing up and down ever so slightly, but just kind of flicking it up and down willy-nilly doesn't seem to do anything.
It doesn't seem to do anything.
I'm going to pull.
Okay? You go to pull on it, it doesn't pull.
Push.
It does not push. It just flicks up and down ever so slightly.
It seems to flick up and down.
Why don't you try flicking it, like push it down as we push these things in?
Alright. Line it up.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Everybody pushes down. There's a soft sound, followed by something unspooling, like a woo, as something unwinds in the back wall. And you watch as on every shelf, that wall at the back of each shelf just starts to drop away, revealing that each of those shelves goes almost their entire distance deeper into the wall. And in each of these new openings are small wooden slats with chiseled out containers. Like someone would maybe stack small things in there.
Does the size of those line up with the piles that Nim and I have?
Seems to more or less.
Are they all empty?
Every last one of them.
You fucking poisoned everyone.
I want to look through for any residue or anything in any of these spots. Anything remaining?
Nothing noticeable. There's dust everywhere, but that's about it.
Normal color or like just regular dust?
Just regular dust. It looks like maybe what was being stored in there has been in there a while.
Can I look around? So you said there's dust in there. Was there any markings that look like it was, any of these were removed recently?
Oh, they've definitely been removed recently.
Like, really recently? As in...
Last
maybe
couple of
time-
days, probably.
Okay.
at a rough guess. There's also, it's a lot. Like, it's not as much as you saw in the warehouse by any stretch of the imagination, but there had to have been a good 200 vials in here.
How many staff?
Maybe like 80.
That leaves 120 vials. That's
Well, that's if they were poisoning them at 1 vial per person, though.
Maybe that's what I figured out.
But I mean, the other thing too is we've seen how much just like a couple of drops of this thing can do. So just...
Okay. So, what's the plan? You still need to short rest somewhere? I think Kenna mentioned something about a clairvoyance potion.
Yeah.
Alright, let's pop that off and do it, I guess.
Doing it.
Okay. Read the clairvoyance potion again.
I wasn't given anything. It
Oh,
just
right,
said-
right.
It just says potion of clairvoyance.
We just have to look at the spell then.
Yes.
Bear with me a moment. Anything... So you guys are going to set up for a short rest in here, so what are what's the plan there?
I suppose there's nothing else.
I have it. I have the spell.
Okay.
Just the clairvoyance spell, yeah?
Yep.
You create an invisible sensor within range in a location familiar to you, a place you've visited or seen before, or in an obvious location that is unfamiliar to you, such as behind a door, around a corner, in a grove of trees. The sensor remains in place for the duration, and it can't be attacked or otherwise interacted with. When you cast a spell, you choose seeing or hearing. You can use the chosen sense through the sensor as if you were in its space. As your action, you can switch between seeing and hearing. A creature that can see the sensor, such as a creature benefiting from invisibility or true sight, sees a luminous, intangible orb about the size of your fist.
Okay. And what's the range of the spell?
I believe as long as
1 mile.
Okay.
Okay. So all you really have to do is picture the inside of Wallace's room.
Yeah.
Okay. You doing that now? Okay. Kenna mumbles to herself something as she drinks the potion.
Let me see.
Okay. And with a soft, let me see, you kind of feel a slight vertigo as you close both eyes and one of them feels like it's open as you suddenly peer through that eye into Wallace's room. In some ways it's like you left it. There are still the bodies attached to the walls, and you'll start looking around, making your way to Wallace, and everything's fairly normal until you get onto his little raised dais. There are tubs of food stacked around him, most empty. You also notice a fairly significant number of tiny little vials that are now empty, just sort of stacked around his chair. Wallace himself seems passed out, or something on the order of that. He's slumped back in the chair. He's completely nude, because again, he has no women to cover himself, and that seems to be his only real deal. And his naked form is very much limp over the giant lounge chair. And surrounding him are 5 of his guards, all of the mage variety. Their arms are raised, and they chant rhythmically as they seem to channel something into his body.
What are they chanting?
They seem to be just chanting various incantations for their own
You can't hear. You can only choose see or hear.
But I can switch it.
You can?
It said in the thing you
Yeah.
can switch
She can
between.
use her
Okay.
action.
Yeah, so as long as she
Yeah.
flips back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
I tell them all of this. This isn't good.
No, it does not appear good, though we do not know what exactly they're doing.
I don't know if we should wait the hour. It's just gonna get stronger.
But so are we.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so you basically get everything back on long rest or short rest Ritus.
That's right.
And Lazarus, what do you get back?
Nothing,
Nothing?
Except your hit die.
except my hit die.
You can all heal.
It is important.
I think we...
You're also not sure how long he's been like that.
This is true.
There... Where in the house was directly underneath Wallace? Like in the next floor down?
Nothing that you recall, scoping out. Because the thing is the stairs that lead up to him, right under those stairs, is the path that leads down to the basement.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole area is kind of the support for the massive staircase.
Okay, so...
but nobody specifically went checking for that kind of stuff. You guys checked out like what was above
his room.
The supports for the staircases that go both up and down.
Okay. Would it be wise if Lazarus went underneath the room and attempted to sense upward?
I think you could do that on our way up.
Did we gain any?
Lazarus may be able to tell if there's something immediately evil happening.
I think we already know it's immediately evil, though. Safe to assume from everything else that we've seen.
Yeah, the empty vials.
All of the vials were empty?
Mm-hmm.
How many does it seem like are there?
I mean, you could count them if you wanted. The clairvoyance spell is still active. I mean, there's, just at a casual glance, there's 2 or 3 piles of vials.
I want to just do like a rough quick count.
Okay. It's gotta be at least, like, well over 60 or 70 at just a casual glance.
Was there any difference in the containers for the blue versus the red powder?
No. Not that you... I mean, the 2 you have are the same.
Does Wallace look the same?
I mean, pretty much. He's a little sweatier.
Gross.
That's about it. I mean, he very much seems out of it. This is the first time you've ever seen him, like, asleep. So, there's a certain limpness to his body now. But outside of that, he seems the same as always.
So there's 5 mages, there's Wallace.
That's a lot of vials.
And a lot of vials.
Lazarus admits he wished to go stop the chanting now.
Yeah, I think we should probably go immediately.
Lazarus will just have to accept that he will be weaker.
I feel, though, that, like, us going in with one of us not being the strongest they can be is really going to affect us.
And...
But...
what are the consequences for us being careful?
Death or death.
Run away!
Our heroes.
Well, I mean...
I have Dispel Magic.
We could go up there, too, and if things get bad, we might be able to still teleport out. The block might be...
They didn't say there was a block. They said we would be shredded.
It's true.
Glad somebody remembered that.
Yeah, sorry. Say that again?
You get shredded if you teleport.
Yeah, teleport out.
To shreds, you say?
To shreds.
I can take it.
2 pieces, you say?
Oh dear.
His wife? To shreds, you say?
It's okay, I can take it.
Alright, and enough lighthearted quipping.
Lazarus wants to go.
Ian wants to go.
Kenna wants to stay.
Come on, Deadlock. Fight it out.
A good question. As you are right now, can you take on 5 mages?
Do we know we're fighting? I don't know.
I think that's a safe assumption.
You seem bent on stopping them from doing whatever they're doing.
But if they're indisposed, trying to do what they're doing.
Lazarus
Just
is
to go
pretty
slice
resilient
throats.
to magic.
It's hard
but-
for me to slay. I don't do nearly as much damage now.
Yeah,
my
without your sneak attacks.
And
Or not
my
without your
action
sneak attacks,
surge.
without your action surge.
and that's superiority.
If I haste you.
If you haste me, I get. More. But I still. Yeah.
Because now that Lazarus has burnt all his smites, if I haste you, then you get the...
I will remind you, the demons you fought so far are resistant to non-magical weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Which we don't have any of. So I guess the question is
They're
probably
resistant to non-magical. So magical weapons are good.
we don't have any.
I have magical weapons.
No, you have shillelagh,
And I have animals that count as
but you don't
magical.
have a magical weapon.
All
We
you
not
know
have-
for sure is Radiant was fine, and the more mundane weapons you had were doing half damage.
Half damage to walls, not half damage to the mages, potentially.
All I can say is it was half damage to the demons.
Yeah.
So for a weapon to be shillelaghed, I have to be touching it.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
drop it.
It has to
I
be
can't
yours.
drop it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be mine. I have to be touching it.
Well, no, I'm just saying you can't
You have
do
to
it and then pass it on.
You have to continue touching it.
Okay.
So
Well,
you
what if
couldn't
I-
like touch Lazarus's weapon and shillelagh it.
No, no,
What
no.
if she
But
just
what
hung
if
out
I
with
was
Lazarus?
holding on to someone's hand and channeling my shillelagh through me and them to the weapon, or holding their hand that the weapon was on?
And how would we swing?
What if it was with the opposite hand? Yeah, like the first one, like she
She
grabbed
has to touch the weapon.
the weapon itself.
As far as I understand, I
Let
mean,
me
you can read the
double-check
spell,
this
but I think
reading.
that's how it goes.
It also works off of wisdom, so I'm not sure how to...
Yeah, it also makes it work off wisdom. Yeah.
Oh,
Which is,
That is a fairly serious downside to
Yeah.
most of you.
What are you talking about? Nim's wise.
Super wise.
Nim's as wise as he is short. Wait.
Whoa.
Wait a second.
Let's not get shortest here. It's unnecessary.
God damn halflings.
I was
Whoa,
trying to think of
gnomes.
a way around it.
No, I appreciate... Honestly, I appreciate the thought. My main concern would be more if you had to hold on to the weapon, how can they swing with their full potential?
I
Yeah.
think my god would be pissed if I put some red powder on the weapon.
I think that would be stupid to do because then you're going to turn the things into big things.
Or awesome.
You've done zero
Or-
tests with the powder and
Or
inanimate
you could put the
objects.
blue thing on because it still has no, but that takes the magic away. The red gives it
No, the
magic.
red takes the magic away. The red absorbs magic.
No.
Yes.
Blue is the one that was like returning or is negating the red.
Yeah, blue didn't do anything directly to magic, it just
I thought it
negated
took
the
it.
red.
What if I have a red and blue?
Then you get
You-
3D.
You haven't tested anything with inanimate objects with the powder. You have no idea how that would work.
Well, we're in the pantry right now.
I
I'm gonna
think
take out.
Lazarus did tell you how evil that was. Just saying.
Fight evil with evil. Here we go.
That
I wanna-
works all the time.
I want to, of course, I want to pull out not my god weapons, but I'll pull out just a dagger I have,
Okay.
regular dagger, and I'm going to pull out the red powder,
Okay.
and I'm going to once more 1 grain onto the middle of the blade,
Okay.
or onto the edge or the side of the blade. It's gonna be pretty hard to aim for.
Yeah, are you detecting magic? Because otherwise there may be no outward difference.
I'll ritual cast it.
Oh,
Okay, so then
I'll
can
wait.
we short rest because we're spending a lot of time in here.
I mean, if you're going to short rest, start short resting.
Yeah.
That's up to you guys.
It's just if they finish their ritual and something bad happens, then we're boned. But yeah, I don't know.
The ritual casting onto a
All these things were
How
going
long does
on
clairvoyance
and
last?
nothing.
10 minutes.
You're almost out of time. Is there anything you can think of to try to guess how far along they are? That might tell you more.
No, that would have been
Have
interesting
they
to have Lazarus actually
continued
being
saying
able to check.
the incantations for the same amount of time?
Like, since you've been watching?
Or,
Yeah,
like,
they've
or
been
like at
counting
the same
continuously.
speed?
Yeah,
It
pretty
hasn't
continuously.
slowed or anything?
Not that you've noticed.
Can she tell what the casts are?
No, she doesn't have that. Okay, that you'd need, like, Detect Magic or Arcana.
Has Wallace changed anyway?
Not that you've seen. No, he's the same as he was 9 or so minutes ago when you started the cast.
What do
Okay,
Wallace
I will
look like?
ask everyone in the room if they have any ideas as to figure out how long we can figure out they've been doing this for.
To answer Dis's question, the walls, it's same as before with all the dead women and servant stuff nailed to them. Most of them seem to not be moving anymore.
Do the casters seem tired?
How would you tell? Like, what are you looking for?
Sweat.
Yeah, like
Yeah, sweat, like,
Stance.
they're kind of starting to, like,
You could do a medicine check for exhaustion.
sure.
Wait, so clairvoyance shows up to the people in the room as like a ball of light?
Only if they can detect magic.
Only if they can detect magic.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's invisible.
you could also test by getting super close to the walls and see if you get absorbed.
If the clairvoyance says.
I don't know if you can move the point.
I mean, yeah, I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can move it.
So I rolled 23 for a medicine check.
Okay. So you try to watch them for a couple of minutes, see how their breathing is, see how they're robed. So sweat is a little more difficult unless you get closer. But just based on how they're talking, they don't seem out of breath. They don't seem wobbly on their feet. You know.
They seem pretty fresh. Honestly. And then you said get close to walls to see if I get absorbed by him.
But that
I'll
depends
do
on
that
if you want to walk. Yeah.
right at the end. Like right as I know time is ticking out.
We're just gonna set it off.
With like
Okay.
it totally is.
But we'll know.
Well no. I mean
You got to do something.
yeah, so
You already said
with
it.
like 30 seconds left. I'm
Okay,
like,
you'll kind of.
yeah, because I don't want it to be like my time ran out and I blinked out, so I don't exactly know.
Yeah.
I
for sure.
want to give it enough of a like wiggle room.
So if it ends 20 seconds early, you
Yes.
know he's capable of absorbing magic.
Yes.
How long would this take us, probably? Or how long do you think, or would we guess at it taking to get underneath Wallace? Like the room that Lazarus wanted to get to?
Depends on how careful you're being. I mean, if you just flat out run to the staircases under him, it's only a couple minutes.
I was also considering.
Just people.
I mean, I was considering just going underneath them, taking out the supports, and bringing the room down on us.
Or just going down,
That would
starting a short
interrupt all
rest,
the
and then
mages.
if something gets triggered.
We could do that. I mean,
What are you gaining on short rest?
hit points.
You are gaining just hit points for you?
Just
Yeah, it's
and
just
shape
Because
shift.
she doesn't have that many spell slots left, so to heal all of you to be fine is going to start pushing the spell slots.
That's what I'm scared of.
Lazarus is at 35 health.
And I'm sitting at 59.
Whereas you guys could burn all of your hit
Hit
die
die.
right now and be back up at full.
Yeah.
Is I think her thought
So,
process.
I suppose, just in case, I'll use some lay on hands here.
Okay.
I'll use.
Do you want to use your hit die first and then see if you need the lay on hands? Or
Well, she's doing something now.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh, just to see like if something happens and you can't do the short rest anymore. I see. That's fair enough. Okay. So Lazarus is going to use some lay on hands. We're waiting to tick down the last couple of seconds of the spell. Is there anything else anybody can think of?
I mean,
I just don't want you to feel like you didn't get a shot.
Lazarus is.
The food is he?
He's not
He's
wisdom
still-
or intelligently
Yeah.
inspired. So.
He's still unconscious.
Yes.
Mages seem like they're
Fresh.
fresh.
Or at least fresh enough they're not wobbling on their feet.
So that's got to give us at least a little bit of time.
Potentially.
Potentially.
Yeah,
You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about the ritual being done.
No.
Dis,
But
are you
most
still experiencing
rituals
with it on your
take 10
daggers?
minutes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to see what would happen with it. Since my short rest is a meditation type thing anyhow, so I figured if we were going to short rest, I'd be doing this and I just go into the short rest, and if we're not, then...
Yeah, the only thing you have to wait for is the 10 minutes for Nim to ritual cast.
Yeah, and I'd wait for...
So what's the normal ritual cast time?
Well, I don't know the caster.
But is there a general
No.
overall? That's what I was asking.
No, rituals are always a bit more wibbly-wobbly because they're not necessarily casting one spell, they're trying to determine some sort of objective. Okay, Nim, you're still ritual casting Detect Magic for Dis's thing? Okay. Lazarus, how much did you heal yourself for?
20.
20.
I have 15 remaining on lay.
Okay. Kenna, you can't wait for Detect Magic to be done, so you'll have to do it now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got about 30 seconds left on the spell. You begin sliding the orb towards it. Just as the orb gets within about 100, or not 100 feet, that's pretty far away, about like 50 feet away from him, you do notice one of the mages that is casting starts kind of turning his head to the side a little bit in the robe.
I would try to, like, move.
Try to kind of wiggle
Divert
it around
that,
the
yeah.
other way.
Yeah.
As he kind of like starts to turn, you start wiggling it the other way, and that seems to cinch it for him. His head snaps around the other way, and you watch as he waves, and the spell cancels.
So they can dispel magic.
Well,
So-
and they know they were being looked at.
Huh?
And they know we were looking at them.
Or at least they do now.
Yes.
So, are we short resting now?
They don't know who was looking at them.
Nope.
No.
And you didn't seem to see any, like nobody else moved. It was just the one guy just kind of waved.
Sorry, I just got to burn up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that leaves you with, Nim, you've got we'll say about 5 minutes left on the ritual cast to detect magic. So it's up to you guys if you're continuing in the vein you are, or if the plan is changing.
I'm still willing to wait it out, though.
Okay.
I get a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, for Dis, it's a big deal.
I think just for that reason we should. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm on the fence now.
Should we stay or should we go now?
So Dis is for stay. Nim is uncertain. Kenna
Stay.
is stay. Lazarus,
Still go.
still go. So it's
Rock,
2.5
paper, scissors.
to 1, give or take. Well, it's already a tie, even if Nim
Yeah.
changes his mind to going. So you'll have to figure out amongst yourselves how to figure out who's right.
Alright, we'll wait until I finish my detect magic and then we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Can I start short resting in the meantime? Like,
You can
Settle it,
begin.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
begin
but
it.
nothing
Yeah.
will happen,
Yeah.
obviously. Okay. So, 5 minutes pass. Nim, your eyes cloud over with detect magic. Dis, you know he's ready. You drop 1 grain on the blade. Nim, you watch as that grain lands on the blade, and much like it did with the meat, it kind of permeates the blade. It doesn't go up the handle, just the metal part that's kind of that one piece. It's radiating off a similar energy to the powder itself, but weaker, probably because of only using 1 grain.
I let this know. That's just emulating what the powder does. Like the magic the powder has.
Interesting. I wonder. I want to take a blue grain now.
Okay.
I want to drop 1 blue grain on it and wait and see if it negates it fully.
It would.
And then I want to put 1 more blue grain and see if it does anything.
Okay. You drop the blue grain on it, and despite them, at least from Lazarus' perspective, being a similar amount of evil, Dis, you don't notice the blue grain doing anything to an inorganic material. It just drops off of it and onto the floor and loses its color.
I wonder what it does to my god weapon.
No? Try it out.
That's okay.
Probably removes all enchantments from it.
Wait. How much? I want to. How to do this? I want to take the red vial out again.
Okay.
I want to drop 1 grain of powder in the air, like floating down towards the ground.
Okay.
1 single grain, and while it's falling, I want to try to sacrifice it.
Okay.
Like trying to get the soul.
Yeah, you drop the grain, and you hit it with the, "Hey, Meyer, this one's for you." It doesn't seem to affect it, though. I will note, as it drops to the floor and lands on the tile, Nim, you notice it permeate the tile, giving it that slight presence.
Yeah, it absorbed into the tile.
God damn it. Take one grain of the blue on the tile.
The tile returns to normal.
Just seal up both the containers and get the blue back to Nim. So, you can make it some sort of red powder blade, but you can't make it a negating blue blade.
I don't think the red powder blade helps at all.
No, I don't even know what this would do if it got somebody. Probably best not to
There's
find
only
out.
one way to find out.
Lazarus, come here! You're gonna be a red dragon boy.
I'm gonna make you a
cut
red
your meat
dragon.
with it.
Well,
Well, here's another experiment. Pull out the red powder again.
Oh god.
We're gonna learn everything about this.
Now you pull out the red powder, you pull out your slab of
We're
meat.
men and women of science here. I'm going to put 1 grain. I'm going to drop it of the red powder onto the blade. Again, confirm with Nim that it's like permeated the blade again.
It has.
And I'm going to take the bigger piece of meat. So not the slice that I negated.
Right.
Take 2, and I'm going to cut off another slice.
Okay. So, you prepare the meat, you slice into it with the dagger. The effect is immediate. As you begin to slice into it, you watch the entire, we'll call it a porkchop, writhe for a moment, and then it sprouts 2 little arms and 2 little legs, and immediately jumps at you.
I just pin it to the ground, I guess, with the blade.
Okay?
Since
When
it was
you
sliced by it already.
stab into it and pin it to the ground. As it enters it, it gets bigger and starts thrashing around.
I'm going to use the
blade.
time when I pinned it to just grab the blue powder from Nim, and I'm just going to drop 1 flake on it.
Okay.
Assuming that
Yeah.
I'm calm enough because I've seen the arm thing.
I mean, I feel like you maybe thought something like this might happen. You drop 1 grain on it, and it shrinks in size, but continues to move aggressively.
Like, drop 1 more grain on it,
Again, it shrinks in size, but continues to wiggle.
and 1 more. The 3 grains.
It appears to be a normal piece of meat.
Took 3. So I drop 1 more grain on the blade to negate off the
Okay.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm just meditating in the corner, apologizing that my allies are creating demons.
Oh Lord,
And then,
please forgive my teammates.
I close the blue, I seal the blue and I give it back to Nick again. I seal the red and I put it back in my lane after I've negated everything I can. I make sure the tile that was pinned, that used to pin the thing down too, isn't contaminated.
Okay.
And if it is contaminated, I'll drop a blue on it.
I will note you are noticing a drop in the amount in each vial. Not a lot, but you have done some experiments, so there is a decrease in volume. A small decrease. I mean, that told you a lot. So, final verdict. Short rest or no short rest?
I mean, I think I'm out of the running now.
It's one of those calls.
Okay, I think we should not short rest. I think we wasted enough time.
Okay, that's 2-2. So how do you decide?
So who's going to be doing damage in this fight? Do we have to fight him?
Lazarus has no smites left.
I won't have anything to do big damage. I'm having it already.
Magic doesn't work.
Magic doesn't work.
Well, we've sort of come up with kind of that.
Yeah.
The blue powder.
True. Kenna did bring up an interesting caveat with that, though.
But if we give it to him, then we don't have any for Mary.
That means we have to find more.
Do we know a way to find more?
Not at the moment.
But it could be a fun quest.
Also, we just noticed that once things get big, it takes more than double the amount. And if he's taken 60 vials, us using 1 partially used blue vial on him is going to do jack shit.
But how do we know it was the red vials we used on him?
Because the blue vials don't really do anything unless you corrupt it.
Well, unless he was just trying to protect himself against what was happening in the house.
But how would that be a protection against it? They could still attack him.
No, you just throw the blue powder at them. I mean, all of his mages and the vials were, like, compiled into his room, so...
But then you'd also have to have enough blue for all the mages.
Alright, fuck it. Let's short rest.
Alright.
Okay. Alright, do your hit die. Keep track of how many, because obviously some of you might need to use quite a few of yours. And you only... How does that work? You only gain back
Half your level.
Half your level every long rest. So it might last a day or two of you guys not having hit die. Or not having as many hit die.
So it's your whatever you roll plus your con, right?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, whatever you roll.
Your hit die.
Plus con.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, I rolled three times on a d10.
Oh, God. Those damn D10 hit die
Goddamn.
can be so disappointing.
Actually, I'll just...
Well, you guys calculate your HP. I'll be right back.
I'm perfectly healed.
That is the goal, after all.
And I get my shapeshifts back.
Everything that's left in my kit right now is pretty useless. I have 4 different things I can do.
4 different things.
I can Nature's Wrath, I can Turn the Faceless, I can Dragon Breath, or I can Dragon Fear.
Dragon Fear might be really helpful if you can use it to interrupt the cast.
Against the mages, yeah, but if we get into something that's mindless, it does nothing.
Yeah.
Kenna, when you were floating the orb towards him, were you watching or listening?
I was watching.
Okay. Then I have nothing new to tell you.
Yeah, I would have been watching. Yeah, because I wanted to see.
Yep. Just checking. Okay,
And
how'd
I wouldn't
everybody...
have been able to know that the mage was turning his head.
No, of course not.
Okay.
Alright, how'd everybody do with the hit die?
Full health.
Full health? Full health.
Yeah. HPs are maxed out.
Okay. Sounds like it's time then.
Final countdown.
So, you guys short rest for your hour. During that time, the house remains as eerily silent as it began. At no point do you hear a commotion from Wallace's room, nor anywhere else in the house. Your hour finishes, tucked away in this pantry, and you're ready to go.
Alright, let's do this.
What's our game plan?
Lazarus doesn't need a game plan. He's already down the hall.
I kind of liked your idea of taking out the supports and dropping them down.
Lazarus will have to do so manually.
It has also been an hour. Somebody may want to see how the room is.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like the idea, I just mean you collapse the whole room and no one's left in there. And yeah. Not nearly as exciting.
I guess that's a shapeshift thing?
That's a shapeshift, yeah.
Yeah.
Can
Okay.
we do that?
That's a paddling.
Into a flying creature again? Or do you want me to
Or
be
something. Can you be anything that can slip past his main door?
a mouse, a snake?
The wall or the door is well put together, but somebody could crack it ever so slightly and let you in.
Is there any vents? That's how it moved around
Vents
before.
between the rooms. It is a fairly well put together manor. You haven't specifically gone looking for vents, but given the temperature in the house and that, you do definitely imagine there must be some sort of air circulation involved. If nothing else, you know he has 3 big French-style doors in the back of his room that he opens from time to time for airflow.
Right.
On that second floor
Off the
balcony.
balcony.
Speaking of balcony.
That is another alternative.
There is the balcony.
We could go into the balcony.
Lazarus can't step up there this time, but I don't have Misty's head.
You wouldn't have to. The second floor balcony has a staircase that takes you up to it from the pool level.
Oh,
It's mostly for
that's
the
not very
girls.
secure.
It wasn't meant to be secure. It was for his honeys to go up and down as he pleased.
I mean, okay, so we can do a couple things. We could go in, I could stealth and see that they're still in there. We could, bust in as if we've been, killing people and things and we're there to protect him. We could just bust in and be like, you're toast.
And buttery toast.
Perhaps
Or-
we should
or
Try to
we
get him with his hunger.
Bust in and we could be like, they're here to see you. I mean, not that we didn't see the carnage everywhere. It's a little hard to miss.
We saw the dead bodies, but we knew you wanted to see Nim and Dis. I mean, it could work. They're all options.
Then I hit him with the, what was the safe word?
Wait, the French doors aren't they glass?
Yes.
Couldn't I just try to sneak and peer?
Yeah, now that we know there's a
Of course you
staircase,
could.
yeah.
But even before that, if she could fly, she could get up
Well-
to the second floor balcony easily.
But I've
flying
never
creature's a
seen
bit
birds
obvious, huh?
flying
True.
in here.
No.
The birds purposely go away from it. So if anything, I would turn into a mouse and mouse peer in.
That is a good thing to remember, that birds never came inside his manor's walls.
Yes,
Or inside the wall area.
I have to remember those things.
Well, it's a good thing to remember. I would hate for somebody in bird form to get completely obliterated.
Bird-rated.
Obliterated.
So do we all want to go to the backyard? Do I just want to go to the backyard?
Who should travel to the group?
I think we should travel as a group.
Okay.
So I guess we make our way to the pool area.
Stealthily.
Okay. The kitchen does have a door that leads out back. Is that kind of the easiest way out for you?
Stealthily.
Stealthily, daintily.
Dangerous.
What was it for outside? Gives us a quick chance to hear if there's anything happening outside the walls.
That's very true. If you go outside and you just hear screams
Yeah.
aplenty, then maybe you know something else.
Oh, I thought you were saying this is what we hear, and I was like, oh, fuck.
No. So yeah, I guess if you guys are stealthing. Is the
Yeah.
idea. Okay, without pass, without trace, I imagine.
Yeah.
Scan the spell slots. Okay, then stealth rolls for everybody, and let's see what happens.
Lazarus will wait a little bit again.
You'll just peek out from the kitchen door. You're like, how's it going out there, guys?
No, it wasn't bad. That was pretty good for a disadvantage. It's hiding. And it went back to hiding.
Alright.
Top tipped over.
It's all over.
I'm more excited for the listeners, but because I just realized otherwise I'm just screaming no for no reason. I can't see. Okay, how'd everybody do?
17.
Wow.
Not bad.
24?
24?
15.
20.
Okay. So, you guys all sneak outside. Turn your ear to the wind. You don't hear any post-apocalyptic style screaming from millions of people being devoured by demons, so things seem fine overall. You do notice there's no more guards on the walls. There are no more girls in the pools. The backyard is quiet. Eerily so. Much like the rest of the house. You take a look. The staircase leading up to the second landing is there. Doesn't seem to have been messed with or anything like that, and yeah, everything's quiet.
Mouse mode, Kenna. Once I get to the bottom of the staircase.
Okay. Kenna does a quick poof, and she is a tiny Kenna mouse. Alright, not a huge deal for a mouse to run up a bunch of stairs, so, I assume that's fine. So, you get up to the landing of the balcony. Where's everybody else? You guys just kind of hunkered down at the stairs?
Yeah, just kind of on the stairs.
Okay. Kenna, you are on the landing. The 3 French doors are just a little further down. What are you doing? How are you approaching? And what are you looking for?
Are there any plants?
On the balcony?
Yeah.
No. It's almost completely empty, except for a couple of kind of lawn-style chairs.
Okay. And how, the windows and stuff like that, do they come all the way to the bottom of the belt? Like, to the
more
level?
atypical, or more typical French doors, there's that, like, foot-ish off the ground where it's just wood.
Okay. So, too far up and they'll be able to see me. If I go too close to a mouse. So I want to stealth as a mouse.
Okay.
Which, I mean, mice are pretty stealthy, as is.
Just roll it with the stats the mouse walk has.
Not super stealthy.
No, but you can.
4.
Like you said, I mean, even if somebody hears a mouse, that's not necessarily a problem.
Okay. So knowing that I don't feel super stealthy, would I know that?
Not sure you would know
No?
that.
Okay,
You
never
would
mind.
know.
Then I'll go with my plan. I would go, like, as not super right against the, like, door wall thingy,
Uh-huh.
but, like, just a slight bit out, knowing that if someone was standing, you know, a little bit of ways, they couldn't see me, and even if they were standing fairly close, they still wouldn't be able to see.
It'd be hard to
the
see.
mouse.
Okay.
But
So you
closer
begin
to that.
skirting the wall.
Yeah.
Slight bit off of it. Which door do you go to?
The
like the closest
closest.
one? Okay. And then,
Peeking.
okay, so you stand up on your mouse hind legs and kind of lean against the door to take a peek.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll perception.
It's still my perception.
My instincts were like, oh god, he called initiative.
Roll initiative.
20.
Okay. So, you pop up, you take a look inside. The room is pretty similar to how you left it. There's a couple of slight changes. First of all, Wallace is still facing away from the doors, as he often is.
Which doors?
Hmm?
Which doors?
Facing away from the French doors. He usually faces the interior of the room. That continues to be so. When you had seen him previously passed out, he was kind of laying on his back with his arms like splayed over the side of the chair. That is no longer the position he is in. He's more in his normal position where he's got kind of one hand bracing up his head and he's facing away from the French door.
Titanic French maid.
Exactly, but mostly you just see a lot of ass, to be honest. He seems to be conscious, or at least as far as you can tell from behind, his breathing is regular, but you don't know if his eyes are open or not. All you know is he's changed position. As you take a look around, at first you think the mages are gone, because you don't see them standing there anymore. But you realize they're not gone, they're still in there. Just pieces of them. All of the mages are dead. In bits and pieces along the floor. Not all of the pieces are there.
Hungry did.
Well, no.
Really dead.
At least it's not Lazarus' one.
Fair. So that's what you can see at a glance. If you're looking for anything more specific, obviously feel free, but...
Are there more vials?
No, same amount of vials-ish. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell with the change of perspective, but it seems the same. The only difference you notice in terms of, like, that general area is... Actually, I don't know if you'd notice that or not. Do a history check.
History. 19.
Okay. You're kind of at that point where you're like, okay, like, I'm not really seeing a whole lot. And just as you're kind of like, maybe I'll just kind of, and go report to the fellas. As you're pushing away with your little mouse body, you notice his lounge chair is not as bowed as it was before. I mean, before when he was laying on it, like, the middle of that chair was almost touching the ground.
It's not.
But it's not that bad anymore. He seems to be the same size at a moment's glance, but he definitely isn't as heavy. Or somebody reinforced the chair since you last looked at it.
So,
But either way, he's not pushing the chair down as much as he was.
some body mass is being converted.
To evil.
Too evil!
I mean, kinda.
His body, great weight loss program, takes that excess mass and converts it right to evil.
100% conversion efficiency.
It just evils the fat away. I like that. We'll have to...
It's the evil diet.
Maybe you guys can, market that later. Okay.
I'm starting to
Lose
have,
weight
like,
now.
Pray the Gay Away flashbacks.
Evil lipo.
So, Kenna, you're really the only one that can make any choices at this point.
It's true. I want to move to the next French door just to see if my perspective change. If I see anything more.
Okay, so you squeak over to the next door, pop up again. Is there anything in particular you're noticing for trying to get a different view on?
I think I'm just trying to even just change my view of Wallace, because now I'm very intrigued by the fact that the chair isn't as far down.
Okay. So what are you looking for on him specifically?
You said he looks the same from what I can see.
At a general glance, he seems the same.
So his body's still plumped over.
Absolutely.
All the
Skin
girls-
tone, even, for example,
Skin
seems
tone's
about
the
the same.
Are there any necrotic spots on him like I've seen on the other people?
Do a medicine check.
Well, so I'm just going to say, if Wallace decompresses, he's turning the entire city black.
20.
Ouch. And probably fair. So you take a look at him. No necrotic spots that you can notice.
And his skin all just looks like the same fleshy tone.
Yeah, about as normal as his skin previously looked.
And all the girls are still on the wall? Or have they been eaten?
No, they seem to still be on the walls.
Alright, I'll go report to the boys.
Okay. Kenna mouse forms her way back down the stairs. Do you stay in mouse form, or at this point you're... Okay. So how are you communicating everything you saw to them?
When I get to the bottom, I will.
Okay, that's fine.
I
that's
just
fine.
wanted to run back.
No, that's fine. So Mouse Kenna comes back down the stairs, and I guess unpoofs somewhere nearby. Give him what you know.
Well,
So
good news. There's no mages left.
Oh, that's great.
Bad news. Wallace looks like he ate some of them.
Oh,
And they're dead.
Sorry, the mages being dead is good news.
Well, if they're not there, we don't have to fight them anymore.
Fair.
very
Just try to find the bright side because there's not a lot.
Gotta look
Wallace
on the
looks like he's
bright
awake.
side of life.
He still looks as fat as ever, but somehow isn't as heavy as he once was.
And he appears to have eaten the mages.
Yeah.
So, not...
Concerning.
Or is this normal Wallace, or are we even sure?
I don't
Those
think
are
it's
empty
normal.
Does he often eat mages? Do we even know?
I mean, if I could make an educated guess, I would say that this is not normal Wallace.
It's magic, Wallace.
So, I don't know the best way
Magic
to
Jackson.
approach this.
Well, we have two choices, from the front or from the rear.
Are we just going in?
Alright, so more than 3 choices.
Or we could weaken the columns like we had planned.
I mean, but he's not weighing as much. Is it gonna fall through if he's not weighing as much?
Maybe someone casts a tensor's floating disc under him or something. It's holding him up a bit.
Hard
Would
to
that
hold
be gone once all the
concentration when you're
mages are
dead.
gone?
Maybe he cast it.
That would be impressive.
Fair. I mean, you don't know if he can cast magic.
Yeah.
You've never seen him do it.
If we go in through the back, I think we could have an advantage in the fact that he's facing the front.
What if I just take the blue vial and stealth up to him without knowing, and then open up?
But we did see it work with a reduced result.
But a reduced result is still a result.
It is, but were you not against using the vial?
I mean, I was, but now I'm not, and I'm not sure what we're supposed to do. It's a very conflicting situation.
There's one thing you know for sure. If he's a demon, magic doesn't work.
Yeah. And if we give him the blue vial, that could increase our chances of being able to use some magic.
But, as you pointed out, you won't have a vial for Mary then.
Yeah. So I think we hold on to the blue vial, actually.
How much
Maybe.
distance is it between the French door to Wallace and his front door to his room to Wallace?
There's much more room from the front door to Wallace. Like, that's his receiving area. So there's a good, 70 or 80 feet from his door to him. To the French doors, he's only about 10 feet away. He stays pretty close to the doors.
Alright, so how far away is he from the top of the staircase?
The doors are at the top of the staircase. The landing is probably only about 15 feet wide, if that. So you gain an extra 10, 15 feet.
Can he fit on the landing?
No, how far is he from the stairs?
Oh, that's what I mean. So if he's about somewhere between 60 and 80 feet away from the door, the landing's only another 10 or 15 feet.
Oh, so I can go halfway up the staircase and just divine sense him.
Yeah, as long as he's got nothing on the walls that block that.
Okay, well, then I'll kind of eek up the staircase a bit and ping out.
Sorry, are you talking about from the main landing or
No,
from
where
outside?
we are right now.
Oh, from outside, you could probably hit him from here.
Okay, well then I'll just ping him.
Okay. So Lazarus is kind of all right, I'm going to ping him, and your ping sense goes out, and it's not pleasant. I'm not going to lie to you. Actually, roll a con save.
Fuck. Alright. Well, good thing I have +5 for 15.
Okay. 15 on the con save. Lazarus pings out. Did you tell them you were going to ping out? Okay. You're all sitting there discussing what plans to do next, and the eyes roll back in Lazarus's head, and he passes out. He also voids his bowels.
Alright.
So he just blacks out and shits himself.
Holy shit, Lazarus didn't like your idea, man.
I'm just gonna clean that up. No concern whatsoever.
No, they all seem fine.
That really serious.
Am I still unconscious?
You come to basically as your head hits the floor, or hits the ground. But yeah, you definitely have that vertigo blackout where just the next thing you know, you're lying on the ground.
Hey, buddy, you been drinking?
Oh, that is evil.
It's not the
Very
liquor that's evil.
Lazarus just pinged that one. We may be in for something.
For some evil.
I'll mention something else as well. In that moment where you pinged, that bare moment where you blacked out before your head hit the ground, you had the unnerving sensation of two eyes staring at you.
Who knows?
Sorry, from out of my unconscious mind?
You feel like in that moment where you pinged out, it's like you could
Something
tell
like-
he was watching back.
Oh. Also, I think he sensed my presence and divine sense.
That doesn't seem good.
No, he likely knows we're here now.
Well, we could make him move and come to us.
I don't know if he can move without help.
He can move enough to kill the mages.
Well, I mean,
Unless that was all magic.
we could just walk in there and be like, "Hey, you got a Twinkie over here."
Got the D&D equivalent of a Twinkie.
Just got a sweet roll.
I mean, that's probably fine.
Well, it comes down to whether or not we deal with this now or attempt to find help, is it not?
Well, I mean, I think we try to deal with it now, and if it's going really poorly, we try to find help.
We just jump out the window and run.
Lazarus feels like we're not learning from this mistake.
What mistake?
Not
That we're
preparing.
jumping out. We're over our heads.
So we're gonna delay this and just...
No, but you said you could not reach Lil.
Nope.
How close are we to the hedge?
To the walls?
The back wall.
The backyard's not enormous. You know, somebody could hop over the wall, or even the gate that Lazarus guarded, the back gate's only...
Let's do that. Let's put a
like
call up to
90
Will.
feet away.
Okay. Well, yeah, if we exit the property and try to use the ring, that's probably what's stopping it from...
If he's detecting
He knows we're
magic
here.
and things right now, then he's going to be, like, very aware of what we're doing then.
Not if we're outside of his perimeter.
Do we know how big his perimeter is right now?
No.
Because he's not worried about assassins or anything right now, because he literally murdered everybody. So it means he can defend against them himself.
Yeah.
Potentially.
But isn't it better to call out for help? He knows we're
We should
here.
try it.
May as well
We should
pull out
try
a
and make
call
sure
for
that
help.
at least let someone know that shit's happened here.
Yeah.
True.
Or do we let Strain know?
Well, let's try it. Well, someone goes out to the wall, I guess, and tries first.
Here, I'll go. I'll head up to the wall.
Run
Okay.
fast.
Are you fast or stealthy?
Stealthy fast.
Okay.
I can do things like hide
Yeah,
with
no,
my
I
cunning
know.
actions. So.
Okay. I mean, it's up to you. Do a stealth roll then, I guess.
Sure. Wait. There it is. Pretty stealthy. 31.
Okay. All right. So, Dis takes off, snakes his way through the pools, and he's at the back gate.
Will, this is Dis. Can you hear me?
You're not outside the gate.
I step outside the gate and then try again.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't sure if there was something you wanted to do before you went through the gate, so I stopped you at the gate first. Okay. So Dis opens the door. It opens fine from the inside. I mean, it's a gate. That's how it works. And you step out into that back alley. Okay, go ahead.
Will, this is Dis. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Dis? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so, we're over at, I try to keep my voice down a little bit now, so I'm trying to cover it from people around that might be walking by randomly.
Sure.
We're currently the four of us are at Wallace's, and I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of dead people here. Like, a lot of dead people.
Are these dead
Like,
people that were
everybody
there
is dead.
before, or are you telling me you made a lot of dead people?
No, they were here as we got here. There was a massacre. People are turning into monsters here, based on that powder that we showed you.
Oh dear.
And the last thing we saw was Wallace up in his room, by himself. Pretty sure he ate some of the mages that were in there. Yes, ate the mages. And we're gonna go in and try to deal with them. I wanted to let you know in case we don't get out of here.
Did you say he's by himself?
That's right. Well, there's bodies around, but yes.
That can't be right. This Wallace is extremely paranoid. He'd never let himself be alone.
Oh, but what we saw was Kenna looked in on him with some clairvoyance, and she saw Wallace slumped in his chair, passed out, and 5 mages around casting something on him. And then we short rested. We came back. It was only like an hour of rest.
This is only an hour.
Just a short one.
Just a short what?
Just a short little rest.
we took a short little rest. Okay.
I don't know what you call those. And we checked again, and the mages were in pieces, but not all the pieces added up to, the expected sum, if you know what I mean.
I think I get a general window into what you're saying, yes.
And then we checked in the general window, and he was sitting there by himself. And I'm pretty sure Lazarus said that he noticed him. So, we're pretty sure Wallace knows we're here. We're pretty sure there's nobody else but Wallace here anymore. And we're pretty sure he's magical as fuck.
All right. Is there something you need me to do?
Yes, so like I said, we're going to go investigate this farther, and we wanted to make sure you knew what was happening here, so if we don't get out of here in time, you know what's going on. And also, I had one other major question, in that, have you heard of people turning into zombie, big monsters, in a widespread type of manner anywhere in the market rung or anything over the last day?
Well, I haven't gone to the market run today, but I certainly haven't heard anything like that.
Could you send maybe anybody out to check the market rung, specifically in the direction of Wallace's manor and the direction of, was it the northwest? Where
No, that's where Wallace is. It's in the south.
the south was where the warehouse exploded?
Didn't you already ask Lil to send out people there?
She did, but that was the day before, so just wanted to send out again. And the area that exploded, could you maybe have somebody go look over there again? Just make sure there's nobody being affected by this.
Sure. Would you like me to, talk to the sergeant and have some guards sent to Wallace's? I mean, it sounds a little bad.
Yeah, that'd probably be a really good idea.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that.
Tell them to be very careful about using magic around. It seems like these things that have been affected by this clay, this blood clay, absorb the magic and become bigger.
All right, I'll let them know in case they see anything like that. It does sound like you're rather busy, and normally I wouldn't bother you with something like this, but I did want to note, there has been something a bit strange with Mary over the last day or so.
What's that?
I was curious, how well, how long you've known her. She's kind of gone through a bit of a growth spurt, and I'm just sort of trying to figure out if she's about the right age for that or not.
About how old does she seem to you right now?
She's grown about a foot in the last day and a half.
That's, kids these days. Like an estimate on her. How would you say she's like a 16-year-old girl, an 8-year-old girl, 20-year-old girl?
I couldn't really say. It's just she's definitely grown over a foot.
That's, should really keep an eye on that. Can you just make sure that, just let us know if she's changes at all farther?
She still seems quite delightful. She's falling down a lot.
Yeah, I guess that would happen.
Quick foot growing, and she's taken a tumble a couple of times.
Maybe she's just gonna be tall,
All right, well, if you're not worried about it.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but just keep an eye on it. There's a lot of things to worry about right now.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Thank you, Lil.
No problem. Be safe.
Maybe if we're not heard from in, like, an hour, 2 hours, maybe we'll just go by the end of the day. If we're not back by the end of the day and haven't contacted you again, maybe just have Strains guards go into the place.
Oh, you don't have to worry, dear. I'm already going to send them. It sounds serious enough.
Yeah, you're right on that. All right, so I'm going to head back to the group and we're going to check this out farther. Good luck with everything you're doing.
Good luck to you, Dis.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll head back in.
All right. You kind of open the door back in.
I'll close. I'll slightly leave the gate ajar, actually.
Okay.
And I'll head back.
Okay.
And I'll fill everybody in on what was said.
Yeah. Was anybody doing anything specific while this was out there, or just kind of waiting for him to come back and see what the deal was?
Constantly perception checking.
Okay. Outside of that?
Trying to reclaim my dignity a little bit.
Sure. I mean, at least Nim prestidigitation's your pants clean.
Yes, at least there's that.
He doesn't wear pants.
I didn't know you were a brown dragon.
You wear pants?
Lazarus was always wearing sailor pants.
I always just imagine you naked.
Just naked with armor.
All right. Well, we're at a good point for a break, and Dis has to come back, and then I assume you guys are going to do whatever it is you're going to do. So we'll take a break there, and we'll come back. Wow, what a cliffhanger. I wonder what's going to happen next time. Seriously, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening in. If you liked what you heard, share us with your friends. If you hated what you heard, share us with your enemies. Seriously, though, like, comment, subscribe. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll find out what happens to Double Doubles and Dragons next time.